Welcome back to my channel. If you get scared even a little bit, then this video might not be for you. Watch at your own risk, because today's story is dark, mysterious, and truly terrifying. Hello friends, how are you all? I hope you're all doing great, and life is treating you well. I'm guessing you've already listened to my last horror story, but if you haven't, don't worry. I'll leave the link right below in the description box. Today's story is going to be incredibly terrifying. If you have AirPods, headphones, or earphones, put them on right now. Go into a separate room, turn off the lights, set your phone aside, and just lose yourself in the story through your headphones. Today's story is called The Black Magic Diary. This story happened last November. Andrew was a very practical and carefree guy. He never believed in ghosts, spirits, or black magic. He lived in an old part of the city in a rented apartment with his friends. One weekend, all of his flatmates left to attend a wedding, leaving Andrew completely alone. Since it was the weekend, he decided to stay awake all night coding and watching movies. Around 11:30 p.m., he started feeling hungry. After checking the kitchen and finding nothing to eat, he grabbed his bike keys and headed out to find some food. Most of the city was already asleep. Shops were closed, streets were empty, and the cold night air made everything feel strangely silent. As Andrew wandered through the city, he eventually reached one of its oldest and most deserted areas. There, hidden among abandoned buildings, stood an ancient marketplace. That's when he noticed something unusual. A small antique shop was still open. There was no signboard, no customers, only a dim yellow bulb hanging above the entrance. Curious, Andrew stepped inside. The shop was packed with old books, dusty clay pots, strange wooden boxes, and objects that looked centuries old. Behind the counter sat an extremely old man with hollow eyes and a face that seemed frozen in time. While looking around, Andrew spotted a beautiful black diary resting on the counter. It had a leather cover and a strange metal lock without any keyhole. "How much for this diary?" Andrew asked. The old man slowly looked up and whispered, "This is not for sale, son. And don't try to keep it with you. This is no ordinary diary." Andrew assumed the old man was simply trying to increase the price. Without listening further, he threw a large note onto the counter, grabbed the diary, and walked out. Back at the apartment, he sat at his desk and examined his new purchase. Something felt strange about it. There was no keyhole anywhere on the lock. Then suddenly, click, the lock opened by itself. The diary slowly unfolded. Every page inside was completely blank. At the same moment, a strange smell began to rise from the pages. It smelled like burning neem leaves mixed with kerosene. Andrew laughed nervously. Thinking it was some weird antique trick, he grabbed a pen and wrote his name on the first page. Andrew. The moment he finished writing, the blue ink instantly turned pitch black. His name sank deep into the paper as if it had been burned into it. A chill ran through his body. Feeling uncomfortable, Andrew closed the diary, left it on the table, and went to sleep. At exactly 3 a.m., he suddenly woke up. The room felt freezing cold. A crushing pressure filled the air. Andrew looked at the clock on the wall. The hands had stopped. Exactly at 3, then he heard it, a scratching sound. It seemed to be coming from the kitchen, like someone was dragging charcoal across the floor. Andrew grabbed his phone and switched on the flashlight. Slowly, he walked toward the kitchen. As he moved through the hallway, a smell of burning neem leaves became stronger and stronger. It was almost impossible to breathe. The kitchen door stood wide open. Andrew pointed the flashlight inside. Nothing. The room was empty. Confused, he turned around and walked back toward his bedroom. And then, his heart nearly stopped. The black diary was open again. A thin stream of black smoke was rising from its pages. Andrew slowly approached it. On the page beneath his name, blood-red symbols were appearing by themselves. Invisible hands seemed to be writing them. The symbols looked ancient, dark, forbidden. It was unmistakably a mark of black magic. Terrified, Andrew reached for the diary. The instant his fingers touched the cover, every light in the apartment went out. His phone flashlight died at the exact same moment. Absolute darkness swallowed the room. Then he heard another sound. Wet footsteps, slowly moving through the darkness. Andrew stared toward the corner of the room, and something moved. A tall silhouette emerged from the shadows. It didn't look human. Its arms and legs twisted at impossible angles. It crawled across the floor like a giant spider. Closer and closer, leaving a dark, wet trail behind it. Andrew backed against the wall, unable to move, unable to scream. The creature finally reached the edge of his bed and looked directly at him. It had no face, only burned flesh. And where its eyes should have been, there were two endless black holes. The creature opened its mouth. A wave of rotting, burning stench filled the room. Andrew's eyes watered instantly. Then the entity slowly raised one long black claw and dragged it across his chest. The pain was unbearable, like a burning iron rod pressing into his skin. Andrew tried to scream, but no sound came out. His voice was gone, trapped somewhere deep inside his throat. The creature lifted its second claw, slowly reaching toward his neck. Closer, closer. And then his phone alarm exploded through the silence. 4 a.m. Instantly, the lights came back on. The room was flooded with light. Andrew blinked repeatedly. Everything was gone. The creature, the darkness, the smell, all of it. He found himself lying on the floor, drenched in sweat and struggling to breathe. Shaking violently, he looked toward the table. The black diary had disappeared, completely vanished. But when he looked down at his chest, his blood froze. The same occult symbol that had appeared inside the diary was now deeply scratched into his skin. That very morning, Andrew packed his belongings and left the apartment. He moved in with his friends and never returned. Later, he searched for the antique shop again, but nobody in the old marketplace knew what he was talking about. According to the locals, no such shop had ever existed. Some even claimed the mysterious shop only appears to people whose darkest hours are about to begin. A year has passed since that night. Andrew is alive, and he appears completely normal. But every single night, when the clock strikes 3 a.m., a faint smell of burning neem leaves fills his room. And from somewhere in the darkness, he still hears the sound of a long claw slowly scratching against the wall. And that is where today's story ends, my friends. I really hope you all survived this nightmare. If this story scared you and you liked it, please go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. I'll see you in the next horror video. Until then, goodbye.